that grow out of Sunday and some surprises like Suzanne. So you want to catch Ann and Lois in here on tape 2? We can suggest that.
Okay.
You can do that as with introduction or just directly.
Just directly.
All right.
Good.
That's cool.
And,
now, am I supposed to feel free to interact like you're actually here?
yeah. Just.
Or,
I mean, I won't be interviewing you or anything, but feel free to talk to me.
I'll turn to you and explain what's going on.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. All right. That's fine.
It's nice.
I think it's a good idea.
Let's do it jointly.
Yeah.
Michael and I have completed our plot. This is the week of Secretary's Week,
It's also Miss Ann's birthday.
and it's also Ann's birthday yesterday, and we would like to. The anniversary of her birthday?
Yeah, she doesn't have birthdays anymore. She started at 21.
No, they stopped at 50.
sorry?
That's their anniversaries. How many anniversaries has it been since your first anniversary, 50th birthday?
None of your business.
A couple. Anyway, will you join Michael and I for lunch today?
Oh, sure.
Does that work?
We'd like you to.
I can't.
You can't? No?
Well, unless I go home now.
Okay.
I have somebody paving my driveway and I've got to go home at noon and pay the bill.
Okay.
So I'll just have to sneak home for a few minutes and pay the bill.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
it's the cameraman zooming in on the birthday girl.
No, that's,
Anyway, is that okay?
yeah, okay, well
Okay.
then I'll have to go home now.
If you two can
Take care
pick the
of that.
spot, and what about something like 12:30 or so? Would that work?
All right.
For you? Good, thanks.
Your appointments.
Yeah, what happens is that on a daily basis, what I like to do is ask people to tape messages, like phone, if I'm not here, phone messages I get, and notes and all kinds of stuff, just tape them to the outside of the door. So when I come in the morning, a lot of times I'll have something like this. People leave messages overnight or write things on the worship folder. So now,
Is that about the average, or?
it varies. It depends on how much I'm away. For a Monday, that's pretty typical because I'll get some notes from people who have been in church on Sunday. There'll be a few messages left on tape over the weekend. And yeah, some part of Monday is following up on those kinds of things. One of the things that's important to us in a church our size, which is a little under 400 members, is that we try and be personal with people. And that means actually responding, to phone calls and stuff like that.
To little notes.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. I can tell you what a few of them are if that matters to you. I'm not
No.
sure how detailed you want it to be.
No, it just kind of like just seeing what you do, like doesn't really require much of an explanation, but just what goes on, I guess, during the day.
Sounds fine. All this stuff that you see here, these are materials for USD. And what I've just finished is some Xerox in there. And you're going to be coming with me to USD this afternoon?
Yeah, if I can.
Okay. What I was going to do was do music for the students over there today because the theme today is the issue of loneliness and solitude. The course is called Christianity and Its Practice. And typically this time in the semester what I'll do is take music, Beatles stuff, Simon and Garfunkel, Dust in the Wind, Desperado, all kinds of stuff like that. And I'll just illustrate that as kind of the theme of loneliness in some, more contemporary music. I'm a little reluctant to do that today because I think the students might feel that they were being cheesed if you showed up with that and I did this thing. And sometimes people, start to get tears and all that. So I'm a little reluctant on that one.
Okay.
So I can shift that to the Wednesday session, and I'll do something else today.
Thank you. I would appreciate that. Just because it seems like it'd be interesting to get someone who's actually teaching
Sure.
music because because I'm in college as it is. So
Yeah,
okay.
glad to do that.
Okay.
No problem. That'll be at 2:30. We'll leave here about 2:15. Before that, we've got now this lunch that's up at 12:30 to honor our secretaries who are excellent at what they do. And probably one other possibility, I'm going to return these calls, and then, given the time at that point, may run over to Mercy Hospital to visit one of our people who is having some significant difficulties right now with blood clotting and with some heart problems. Great lady. She's 86, and so I may be asking you. I would ask her permission, obviously, first, before popping in.
No, and we'll just tape everybody in the hospital. Just okay.
But yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to get at it, and as you were, okay?
Okay. I was wondering, is the
Annie appreciated it. She said she would have liked
chapel open?
The sanctuary?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I could like tape, like where you work, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. You can take a shot at the whole campus if you want.
Okay.
Kids Club's out of session right now. Preschool's in session. Down on level 6.
Okay.
So,
Thanks a lot.
are you ready for the advertisement?
Sure.
You gotta come around a little more often, man. We miss you.
Thanks.
Truly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Whatever the starting point is, that'd be really neat. So, and I'm up for conversation about that sometime if you want to pursue it
Okay.
genuinely. Good. I'll get at it. Won't be shunning you, right?
No.
Cool. Hi, Susie. This is Pastor Jim. I got your note from yesterday regarding an interest in membership here. I'd be delighted to talk more with you about it. Please give me a call at church, 276-1922, and we can set up a good time just to talk about what it means and what some of your interests are. Thanks again for being with us last night as part of the circle of prayer. Really enjoyed your being there and what you added as we prayed together. So, from your side or mine, we'll talk again soon, and have an excellent Monday. Thanks. Bye-bye. Oh my goodness. This morning? I won't distract you for long. I just wanted to call back to say thanks for your expression of interest in baptism membership. I am keeping you very much in mind. Praise God. Mm-hmm. It's coming up later this spring. And you can say either way. That's just fine.
Hi, Emily. How are you? Good. What are you doing
Yes.
today? You playing?
That is basically people that are 30s and 40s. That particular group.
You playing with the dog? Bye.
That's right. Hmm.
Yeah. Actually.
Hmm.
It's just like
See if I have an RCA gag. Okay.
give all these a shot, and I appreciate your kindness. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay, well, then I'll try to remember that question so you can include the description. Okay. He asked me that. Yeah, they got that number already.
Oh, no. They did the walkway, you know, when you come approach the house, there's a walkway that goes to the front and then to the side. That part's all done. And then they got the front gate all across the garage door coming this way out towards the street. It's a different color.
Oh,
I have,
and that, is it, are they like painting the concrete? Is it concrete
you
or?
know, they have a big cement mixer going, it's these teeny tiny little pebbles. And they mix it with kind of glue.
Bueno, buenos días. Soy el profesor Dr. Smith del Seminario Bethel en San Diego. ¿Está Dr. Hatchet?
And the stones are all getting loose.
Ah, qué lástima. Estoy buscando por su hijo Charlie, Charlie Hatchet. Okay. Oh, sí, con su permiso. Okay.
That doesn't change from my phone. Oh, you don't phone it.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay.
So it's kind of like fall colors,
Oh.
you know, a darker color.
That was really nice.
It looks gorgeous. Because the one guy says, boy, so this is good fit for this house.
Okay, I'm Dr. Jim Smith. Jim. From Bethel Seminary in San Diego. Our number here is 619-276-1922. Well, let me ask you, when does he become available? Do you know?
So I think it's all, I mean, it's all there.
The best time would be for him to call here, let's say at this number between 5 and about 6:15 today, or he could call me tomorrow after 9 o'clock. Yeah, we have staff meeting at 8 tomorrow, but after 9 would be fine. Just, thereafter, there are several appointments. It's the church number. I'm pastor of a church. And I'll be in and out at different times, but the reason I'm calling, I enjoyed having him in our class in church history this past term, and he invited me, he said at some point to be at a service. Do you know what that service is?
Oh my God, I do. Yes, they are. They're very cute. Come back. Thank you, pretty cute.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, pardon my ignorance, please. This is the office of his father, Dr. Hatchett. This is the home of the family. I was given a handful of numbers here. I was given a handful of numbers down there, and I'm not sure which number goes to which.
For pools and that kind of.
Okay. Is this the 300469? Or is this 215866?
Yeah, it's a big area. But
Wonderful. And your name again? Thank you so much for your kindness.
Oh wait, I need to slit your wrist and I need to look like You didn't tell me to do that, but I probably would. We don't have a stamp head.
Good. Hey, thank you very much. All right.
To check on it.
Sounded good.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, thanks.
One other thing too.
Yeah.
We have for the couples retreat. We have Kathy not feeling comfortable. Dodd not feeling comfortable with leaving the kids, and therefore Kenny and Kathy will not be able to take part in that.
Oh.
So what you and Eloy and I probably need to do is put our heads together and get a sense of the priorities and what we need to complete that.
Okay. What is gonna? Okay.
Gonna.
I just say it's gonna be missing something with them being absent, but I understand why. Okay.
Okay. So maybe there's some time tomorrow. The three of us could. We've got enough time to make some real good things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a matter of making sure we're on the same track. We could augment with, if we wanted to, with Bill and Barbara, potentially,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe Mary Cipriani Price coming in. I know the idea was to stay inside.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, she's been part of the counseling center, and she is a specialist in the area of sexuality, which might not be a bad area for one of us to address from the retreat.
Okay.
So,
I'll toss that in the mix and think on it.
okay.
It's a good idea. Okay.
Okay.
Tomorrow sometime, you thinking morning or afternoon?
I'd like to think morning if we can.
Okay.
If that'd be all right.
All right.
How do you want to share this? I'm prepared to foot it for lunch if that's helpful.
I can share that.
Okay, we'll put our minds together at that point. I think it'll work out well.
Have they come up with a place where they want to go?
I don't know. You want to hurt?
Yeah, I'll go ask.
I was going to say harass, but cultivate the
I
possibility.
gave Miss Ann balloons this morning. I can't harass her.
She liked the balloon.
Okay.
Good. Thanks. You're here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got a note here from Chris and Michelle that says we'd like to set a date for some intentional time to spend with you and Linda. Can we have you over for dinner? Yeah. So does that sound inviting? Okay. You want to use your life at a glance? Okay. Thanks. And we can propose this to them. She did really well yesterday. She and Chris sang. Did a beautiful, beautiful presentation. But also, during our prayer time, I invited different people up to lead in prayer. And somewhat ironically, Bruce led in prayer for the women's retreat. But happily, you know? And yeah, and we'll do it. And Michelle prayed for those who are making important decisions, and Bob Bateman in memory of John Kilgore. It was a good time. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Unless we want to come back for Saturday night or something. No? Okay. So the next one. Next one is maybe one. Sunday afternoon. That might work. The Titanic ladies will. Yep. Now there's talk about the class, Family Fellowship, doing something like we did before. Could that be a possibility? Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, first or second? Okay. Let me pursue first or second with them. Does that sound alright? Or afternoon of the 3rd? Okay. Yep. Thanks, sweetie. How you doing? Alright. Good courage. Thanks. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Pastor Jim. Love your recording. Almost put me to sleep here in the piano music. Thanks again for sharing so well in worship yesterday, in song and also in prayer. Just want to reaffirm that it was neat for me personally, and I know for others. Got your note from the service. Linda and I are available, and we're fairly easy. What that means on our calendar here, our Life at a Glance, is we're asking if the possibilities for May 1 or May 2 might work out. Conceivable before that, but that would be a lot. Hope it's all right to step over your back and all that.
No, that's fine. Try how many camera angles get in here.
I'll be glad to.
5 or 6, 7, 8, 4.
Thank you. Second installment, yes, I remember the number. Is he still on for tomorrow at 1? Scheduled minute? Great, thanks. Thank you, Jim Smith. Jim Smith. That's okay. Hey Jim, this is Jim. I wanted to call just as a reminder that we have an overseer's meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And if you would please bring to that one side of one sheet, your assessment of the service model. At length last time, you probably seen the worship folder soliciting others.
Yep.
sometimes the borderline between annoying and faithful is difficult to plumb. Yes. So I think anyway, this maybe is more faithful, but good. Please pass on appreciation to Bill and tomorrow well. One last thing, if I may. It was fun and a little unusual, but it was fun to come down and poke my head into the New Beginnings class area yesterday afterward. Thanks, and boy, keep those desserts. I never got any, but I saw everybody just eating away, so I knew that looked promising. Look, the bounty had stopped right there in the classroom. Yeah, so it was fun. We'll do it again. Yeah. Bye bye.
About at 9.
What did you say?
One of the neat things about being here is the amount of help we get from a variety of people. The person we're going down to see, who we think is in the sanctuary, is a retired technician for Pacific Bell, and he does a lot of electronics here, just on a volunteer basis, doing electrical wiring, sound, and all kinds of things like that. And so we are very grateful for a lot of volunteer help. When we had a need for the ends of these beams on the sanctuary to be redone, those were done by one of the guys in the church who's a contractor, and he arranged for that. There's our preschool kids.
I brought the minutes over to Lois Thursday, and I was hoping that she could type it and have it in the thing so that this one speak and, because in it, I don't know if you've seen it. I mean, I told her that what I would like to do is, and that's why I was trying to email. The email didn't work, but I said if I can email it to you, then you have it in your computer. You can double space it, give it to the pastor, let him proofread it, and make any correction you want, and then you can type it or correct it on your computer, bring it back to one space, and publish it, but this morning I asked her, and she said, no, I haven't done it. I'll get it there tomorrow night.
Of course, Friday was retreat day. I think it might fit. There are particular days going back to the counting, which is much appreciated. There are particular days when I'll come out or be in or whatever, and there'll be a certain figure that's been given by our people. And I know that Ann pays real close attention and responds very interactively to different figures and numbers. My first desire, anytime the offering is counted, is to really give praise to God and to recognize our people for the many ways they give. And so I hope I wasn't at all, what's the right word, abrupt in mentioning the issue of both to Ann saying, gee, it really doesn't look that bad. Last week, I mean, compared to where it could be, 8,600, but also just to keep encouraging her and all of us to stir each other to give praise to God, because there's a lot of people out there that are doing a lot of different aspects of investment.
There's just no question on that.
Yeah, I think we started January and February very strong. March, now April. But what you're doing, I'm grateful for in terms of the counting and so forth. I just, sometimes especially, in conversations around the office, I just want to make doubly sure that that the deepest significance has to do with what the Lord's doing and what our people are teaming up to do.
Yeah. It bothers me sometimes. I mean, let's say we have 2 good weeks, in a month, and then on the third week, we get down, and our man says, guess we're not going to get paid this time.
That's right.
And that's not right. I mean, I said, hey, and we share and hire, okay, that's fine, hey, that's level. What it's all about, because I need to get their voices above the music.
Sure.
And that is hard. I mean, now I have a problem. And I did have a problem because I had her as loud as I could before they started singing. And she was too far away from the mic. He was close to the mic, what was supposed to, but I mean, I can't get down.
Sure.
And
By the way, don't mind Justin. He's following me all day. He's one of Andy's buddies from UCSD.
Oh, okay.
And he's checking to make sure I wake up before 11. Anyway.
But, so what happens is, I did crank the music down a little bit, thinking that, hey, I can't live with this. I mean, it's too loud, I mean,
Sure.
And so he said, he still didn't complain that it was, but if I, a couple of mics hanging on it, and we have one of them, the other one is, I think, is broken. They were taken down, but I mean, we can put them back up. And we need to do that, I mean, for the choir, so
Sure.
we can pick the choir up and,
So is the only thing preventing that the need for another mic?
one mic to be fixed.
Okay.
And so that's what I said. I mean, really, the sanctuary, we needed monitor speakers. I'm not sure if I can make this so that we could use this as a monitor speaker. It's one way, but I mean, but the amplifier we need. I mean, that because we can do nothing without, not really.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Let's go back up for a moment to the mics if we can. So, do you need an extra mic then, or can the one that's
The one that's
one that's
there
out
that
be
needs
repaired, or?
probably can be repaired.
Okay. Now, is that something that you do or someone else does?
That, we probably have to send it away. I mean,
Okay.
that one, I looked at it and I couldn't, I mean, it's the internal part of it that I need to, so we need to get that.
If you can do that, and we can get those 2 mics up there, that would really be very nice.
Are you going to put them from the lights or are they
No,
going to be from the beams?
see, they were hanging on those hooks.
The hooks up there?
Yeah, that's where they were hanging.
Sounds good.
I don't know whether you appreciate Dave's music. I mean, his choir, his just specials and everything else. That's great.
He's a very gifted guy.
Oh, he is. And that soprano that we got.
Yeah?
Oh, she is so good.
Yeah.
And I was sitting over there watching her present last week, and she knows how to use the microphone. There isn't more specials, really.
Well, and that's, a lot of that is left with Dave as to what he thinks, the choir can work up in a given period of time.
And I think he has very good use of all of his choir. He does, because when he uses Pam, or I guess that's her name.
Mm-hmm.
And
Red-haired
she
lady?
is excellent.
Yeah.
She is just so good. And she sits under Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with all of her talent and everything, it doesn't hurt her just to sing right with the choir.
That's really neat.
Oh,
We need a jolt sometimes.
Let me know, is there anything that I need to do in terms of authorization? I just say in terms of that mic, let's get it repaired, and if we can hang those two.
I need to talk to Eloy and discuss that and see what,
Yeah, I'm confident it'll work out well though. Good, thank you.
turn it on.
Is the new board working out well?
yeah. The only thing is, I mean, trying to, learn all the ins and outs, and suddenly what happens is, Dave has a tape over a couple buttons, but for the tape recorder, and he says, do not push. Well, I noticed that one was pushed in. I said, I better, if it shouldn't be pushed, so I took it out, and your voice disappeared.
Was that?
And I'm saying, what the heck is going on, I mean, so I pushed it, I put it down. Now, we found out today, we tried it, that's why I wanted to test it, because I said, hey, I need to find out what's going on. Why would the button make any difference for the main sanctuary?
Sure.
And it does. I mean, when you push it down, it's louder. But Dave says, don't push it down, leave it up, because he said then the tape gets more volume. And no, that's a legitimate deal, but I
Sure.
mean, it's
just one of those
scary.
things.
It's scary that if you're not monkeying with the main things, that here an obscure button you can push and you can
That much
affect the main
control.
sanctuary.
That's
That
right.
is not, that's not, I don't like that. But I mean, you.
I noticed
once-
disappearing up there. It's a funny thing because, as you
Yeah.
know, if I need to, I can just crank it and you go,
Yeah.
But then when the microphone comes back up, then three people, die back here with the hearing aids.
And the hearing aids didn't work right.
Aye.
And so, Throckmorton came over, and so I cranked it up all the way, and I could hear it, but yes, it was a buzzing, and so I thought, oh, maybe they can still hear us, And he said, no, it wasn't. So today we looked, and we found out that they had put an adapter in, and actually 3 adapters to make it all work, and one of the adapters had a loose connection. I mean, and so I just got rid of all of them
Oh,
and
it's loud.
soldered
and
in.
clear now.
Great.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That's a
But
helpful one.
with 3 operators in there, at least 3 that I know of, Dave and Deepa and the other young fellow,
Yeah,
we're
Josh.
lucky to, everybody just don't think the same way.
That's right.
They're working with the same piece of equipment, so button down.
It's kind of like a rental car sometimes. You get all these different drivers in there, right? And they're all good drivers, but
But they leave things different, and so the next guy picking it up, and, he really,
I think there is one person from the Korean church that drinks Pepsi because regularly I'll find a Pepsi can drained down.
Is he a greeter?
Just takes a shot and Pepsi and greets the rest. Maybe that's why I can't speak Korean. Maybe if I drank more Pepsi, I'd be okay.
Interesting you're talking that way. Carol had some problems with her stomach and everything. She was just kind of hyping her. And so she called the doctor, and the doctor says, well, do you have any Coke or anything like that? He recommended that she drink some Coke.
Really?
So she drank that Coke, and it wasn't 5 minutes, and she started feeling good.
Isn't that
So
something?
whatever is in this stuff that either hypes you up or calms you down to normal or whatever.
Whatever it is. Coach the stomach. Elixir. While we're at it, we ought to point out this is the door of the office for the Oriental Mission Church. It's a Korean church that meets here every Sunday. And on this property, one of the important things is trying to make the very best use of it we can. That shed over there is Spectrum Ministries, which is Pastor Vaughn, and that shed is full of things that we ship to Mexico to help out people and families down there. And also the Office of International Action Ministries is here, which has some activities in Mexico but also in Venezuela. So it's a campus that's well used
Yes.
with the two schools.
That's 4 ministries and 2 schools.
Yep. So we're very grateful. The birds are back nesting in 1A again.
It's pretty neat though, hearing like all those little birds.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing nature reel, you can catch some action that way too.
Okay.
A couple of spotted owls that are hanging out up there. Sure. Daryl and Eva, I think that there's a Korean usher or something that drinks Pepsi, because down there on Monday mornings we find this can of Pepsi. It's almost a ritual. It's about 7/8 gone. There's a little bit at the bottom.
Really?
And it's sitting on the literature table in the sanctuary entryway.
Huh.
Yeah, just real regular. I don't know if the guy quaffs a Pepsi to get strength to greet people or what. I don't know.
Keeps him perky.
Good, how are you?
Yeah, just a second.
Yo.
Please, just come in. They look like they got the other 2 that you got this morning.
Society that I'm in. The local chapter of Society for American Baseball Research. One of the questionable delights of being on email is that things that are sent through the organization wind up here. And so I'll be handed a piece of paper, not sure if it's announcing someone's death or is charting an obscure minor league ball player. So
It's either good news or bad news or no news at all.
or whatever it is, yeah. One thing it does is keep the paper makers in business. You're sure of that. The ones that are not red marked, Mike's easy to reach, obviously. Don't worry about Vaughn because I don't think he'll do it, so not to worry. I think he'll be really busy. What we need is a one-page, for each one of these, a one-page evaluation of two service.
A whole page?
Format. It can be 2 paragraphs, it can be 5 lines, it can be no more than a page. One-page evaluation of the 2 service format. We talked about this at the Deacon Overseer meeting. So, yeah, that can work out well.
No, that does not include.
That does not include those people. So deacons only, I've called the overseers, talked to them already. That'll be, Mike and Eloy are easy to reach, obviously. But Dave, Alan Johnson, John Lee. Those sorts. Barbara Reeves also already knows. Barbara is already. Okay. Thank you. In other words, if they can get it to, they probably drive it by, or they knew about this the last 2 weeks. So it could have been turned in on Sunday, yesterday, or otherwise. But this is just following up saying we haven't received it yet.
Okay.
So they can put it underneath the mat out there, driving by. They can bring it in by noon tomorrow. Whatever works best for them. This can go in here. This is all stuff arranged for the 2 classes that I teach at Bethel and at USD. And I'm teaching both today. Got the afternoon at USD and the evening at Bethel. You gonna come with me for the evening?
No, I'll probably be editing tonight.
Yeah?
I'm just gonna tape this and then go straight to the editing room. Probably.
Okay. So up until what time are you at?
How late does your class go to?
Which one?
The USD.
USD goes to 4.
Probably until after class, maybe a little bit more.
So you want to lift back here?
Sure. If that's possible.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. All right, thanks. Bye.
review from last Sunday. But you might not only like the the cover, but the information gets you up to date too. Yes, thanks very much. Jim Smith trying to reach Julia Stockton, one of the patients. Hi, is this Julia? Hello? This is Pastor Jim. I'm trying to reach Julia. Is this you? Well, very good. You sound a little bit faded there. Are you? Which? Boy, they're certainly giving you the treatment, aren't they? What's this test for, Julia? Colonoscopy? Okay. Yeah. But you've come through it okay. But you wouldn't want to have them 5 days a week. No. You know, one of the challenges is that you are blessed with a memory, with a good memory, but it also enables you to remember all these things. I understand. Yeah. Well, thank you. I was thinking about maybe coming over a little later in the day. And it doesn't sound like I want the colonoscopy myself. So if it's today, it would be probably later afternoon. Mm-hmm. Boy, so they've kept changing the times, or at least the plans. Sure. No, I understand. Okay. Is that the one across the street? Okay. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I've been in that rehab, and they do some real important things. Well, if it's the one I'm thinking of, there are several different ones in Hillcrest, which has turned out to be pretty much a medical area. Mm-hmm. When are you supposed to go over to rehab? Okay. That sounds good. Well, given that they're not quite sure what time this is going to be taking place, what I'll do is call back to make sure you're there. So it's get. Okay. Well, Joe's there with you. will you please say hi to her for me? Thank you. I enjoyed being there last week with you and those two character daughters of yours. A lot of fun. Yep. Ah, that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure. All right. I understand. Well, I'll keep remembering, and I'm glad you're getting good attention. But, well, I won't head over directly because I don't want to wind up getting the colonoscopy. I don't think so. That's quite a commitment. But, yeah. Sure. I would like to pray together if we could, before we part just now, and then I'll be checking back at another time. Lord, thank you for the good help that Julia's received over at Mercy Hospital over the years. Actually, that being where we first met these years ago. And thank you, you've carried her right up to this point. And somehow, God, between the skill of the doctors, between her own determination to make the very best of her abilities, and the prayers of all of us as friends, may there be a good outcome in this chapter for her. May there be just the right things discovered by the doctors, and again that you would carry her through this procedure in a way that sees her lifted up and able to get back into more familiar places. Thanks for Julia and for her good spirit and for those remarkable daughters of hers that surround her there. And in all this, Lord, to you be the glory, in Jesus' name. Well, that's my privilege. That's my privilege. We'll stay in touch, all right? Good. Uh-huh. Bye-bye. Probably the most distinguished vehicle is Lois's van.
Okay, how was your
Are
drive?
you able to drive it? Would you be willing to drive it? Sure. For a free meal?
We'll even buy you lunch.
Oh, cool.
Which, after all, was the purpose of all this.
Somebody want to write check then? Sit there.
Yeah.
It's actually.
board on it, and then got some floor mats, and I cleaned that thing up. It was hay and all kinds of stuff in the back of it. I cleaned that thing out, and you know what? I hated to give it back. I really enjoyed that car. The only time it made me nervous was going across the Coronado Bridge.
Is that what they call studio quality? Yeah, it's a good transfer quality and it lasts a long time.
Sits there?
Almost archive quality. Yeah. Videotape and computer tape and stuff like that. Was wearing out every 10 years, but if that was much longer. Yeah. Well, it's just that there's so many like forms of magnetic like recording stuff around it. It like tends to wear down anything near it. Like since there's so many like
about that. You stack all your videos together, you get those conflicting magnetic fields.
yeah.
After you
After that.
Hello, John. Anytime's a good time for chicken pie, right?
Maybe keep her
Maybe I should explain to Joe what's happening.
I'm not gonna tape very much longer. I'm just gonna,
okay.
I'm gonna leave the tape with you, and
Then you're gonna stop
I'm
and
gonna
eat,
go
right?
I'm gonna try and find a place that has high tape. 'Cause this one's running low, so basically, yeah.
To run a group like that, but we don't, for two friends there, we try not to be exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we get our exclusive time, and so considering with our group, we don't try not to, not as much anymore.
Thanks, man. That is hard to hear. I didn't hear that, but I can see where that comes.
Yeah, that, I mean, we talked about a number of things, but that was the one that really marked me most. I'm waiting for the long play version later, but.
Yep. Most of what I heard was just real pleasure at what we're doing up there. It's done with New Beginnings after Sunday school. So just every once in a while circle down there. And, one of the people came up to me and said they had been at Rhonda Hunt. Yeah. She said she just loved it. What do we got here? Sarah, Sandy Jones, Big Stone Lodge, Pottery Night. So, Randy Jones?
Randy, yes, he said. I couldn't tell what she said, she rattled out really fast, and so I probably started to write it down weird.
Okay, thanks. Viable, not viable, interested, not interested?
I'm ready to keep going. Much more in Los Angeles. Between parking and the accommodations and everything.
Okay. I want to get back with you on that. Okay.
Okay.
Get a little enlightenment.
No real messages.
How many unreal ones?
One hang up and one trying to sell us something.
Okay. Thank Grove.
Great, thanks.
Danielle. Hi. Yeah, just a second. BJ,
Yo,
Rick Bosbeck.
thank you. Hello. Hey there, Rick. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. I have not seen it. Was it sent to the church or to the house? I don't remember it. I did get your mailing that confirmed the prospect of September 20, but I don't remember getting another one under separate cover. I assume. Okay. Excuse me. I can double check. Couple. Mm-hmm. What day of the week is that? Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Thursdays turn out to be a bit of a challenge because of my teaching on Thursdays. I appreciate it. Excuse me. Linda's taking classes on Thursdays, Thursday evenings up at UCSD, and I teach, and then I have office hours that usually go till 8 o'clock. That's a possibility. Do you want to forward that to them, or shall I? Okay. That sounds good. Mm-hmm. Okay. My pleasure, and hey, I'll keep in mind too. If something turns otherwise, I'll be interested. We've had a good time. Okay, thanks, Rick. That sounds good to me. Thanks, brother. Bye.
See him personally or what?
Okay. I'm about to go and do a little teaching, but we'll be back ASAP. Thanks again for... Look at this.
So is this like graduate students or?
Undergrads. That all those things that you're involved in, or all those things that are there in your life, either you neglect them or you've got to take care of them.
Yeah.
It's what the Bible calls stewardship, and that word now is being carried over more didn't used to be big in the environmental movement, but now it's increasingly being used in the environmental movement. The issue of stewardship of resources, but that's true of life at large. Most people find that creation is more fun than maintenance. But the way I think of it too is that, creation itself, at least the roots of it, in terms of Scripture, happened way back at the beginnings of earthly life as we know it, but that God has been active doing little bits of creativity, but also a good deal of maintenance ever since. And so that's part of what I'm involved in. This is a Monday-Wednesday class that I teach. It's called Christianity and Its Practice. And I've taught at USD for 5 years, part-time. Typically it's on a Thursday afternoon, and I'm doing that again this term, but they ran into a pinch. The department chair at USD, Religious Studies, found out he was double booked. He's supposed to teach 2 classes at the same time in different places. Even chairs can't do that.
Yeah.
So he knew of my experience and that I enjoy doing the course, and so he asked if I would step in, and after a lot of reflection on prayer, decided to do that. So it's a great bunch of young people, and we talk about things that matter. It's also going to be kind of a relief when the term closes out, because I'm teaching 2 at USD and 1 at Bethel Seminary West, training pastors like tonight, Monday nights. So that is a large dose on top of everything else.
Large chunk of responsibility.
Yeah.
Trying to keep the classes apart, like curriculum ones.
And of course the focus very much is still the church and the ministry there. So, but if you've got a gift, or an ability or training or something, it's nice to be able to use it. And so that's my desire. I really want to, whatever I've got, I want my life to count in terms of reaching other people's lives. So it's nice you can ride along, because this is part of the package. Are we still doing the kind of thing that you had hoped to be doing in terms of the videoing?
This is good. This is really good.
Okay.
Yeah, because like most people I could do, I'm friends with, but they don't really do anything that I don't do already. For the most part, it's kind of boring.
Okay. As in familiar, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that your life or theirs is boring, but just it's familiar, right?
Yeah.
It's nice that you don't have to catch me on videotape trying to speed up to 95 in an old Trooper to make a green light. I'm grateful that moments like that are not captured. Of course, we wouldn't do that anyway, but...
Yeah, my camera isn't quite pointed on the speedometer, so...
Nah, it's okay. One of the nice things about driving my vehicles, whether it's Troopers or Volkswagens, is that you're gonna be pretty much within wraps. Fortunately, I didn't throw that book out the window when I put it in the back seat.
No. Didn't want it anyway, I guess.
Yeah. This is a real challenging time of the term for the people in my classes here. because it is kind of that in-between period between spring break and
End of the year.
between spring break and the end of the year, and people are just having trouble. Some of them are kind of sucking air, you know. Other people, to use my grandma's old expression, could smell the oats in the barn. Kind of like when you take the horse out for the ride, you know, and the horse kind of hangs out, you know, but then he gets the whiff of the oats in the barn, and he goes, "I'm heading home." So that's how some of the students are. They're just, you know, they got their mental bags packed, and it's very hard for them. You might know a little bit about that this time, right?
Just a little.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I'm like that all year.
Their bags are packed all year. Yeah, well, that's another variety of what we're dealing with.
No, I'm actually starting to enjoy all my classes pretty much. Like first year, it was more mature, but now it's not so bad.
You been up here much?
Never.
Really? Well, this is this being the Monday-Wednesday class, there should be enough chairs for you to sit in. Attendance has really been pretty good, which is always encouraging. Been pretty strong. But on a day like this, there's probably several people out there that are kind of, you know, under the influence, shall we say. Hopefully of nothing stronger than the warm weather. But
Yeah.
it's a very nice campus.
Looks nice. I think it's up high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's views of Presidio Park over across the valley and all. Soft drink, musical Is that the regular logo?
Yeah, it's just
Okay, it's good to see you again this afternoon. Let me, at the beginning, call attention to the inconspicuous gentleman back in the corner, waving his magic wand. This is Justin Runia. Justin is a student at UCSD. So if anyone here is doing experiments about the difference between students at USD and UCSD, this is an apt time for a laboratory examination. Justin's a good friend of our middle son, Andy, and he is in media arts. And the media arts assignment is what, Justin?
follow someone around for a day, basically. Handheld camera assignment, doing art stuff. And yeah, it's supposed to be interesting, so hopefully, maybe.
So anyway, Justin, with the powers of deduction that come at UCSD, Justin figured out that if he carried out that assignment among any number of people, he'd be arrested for stalking. So what he decided to do was to ask someone, and that someone is me, so he has been following me around today through a lot of different phone calls, through a lunch, through a conversation with people about the electrical system in our church sanctuary, through a lot of other different things. You know, kind of all the stuff that highlight films are made of. So it's been a good day, and Justin, you're going to kind of hang out in the corner there?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, if the gentleman that usually comes and hangs out in that corner, if he shows up, just let him know who you are, okay?
Okay.
So, who you are. Good. Again, nice to see you this afternoon. Started out today dressed for fog. It was foggy, windy, and damp where we were. Went out immediately. The sun came out. So here we are. But we have, as we said last time, turned the home stretch into the final lap, heading toward the close of semester. And I hope that as this takes place in all of our classes, that we're finding just enough time to get done those things that we really feel need to be done. In our class, as mentioned last time, it was a moment to take a look at prospects for the final examination. And what I'd like to do, very, very summary way, is just to outline the basics of the final exam. This is under the heading of, if you weren't here then, this will help. Or if you were, this will be a very, very brisk review as we start out. First of all, we want to pause for a moment and to give opportunity for prayer together. God, whatever we make of the opportunity, we thank you for those times in life that really invite us to reflect and to communicate with you. And in this moment, somehow for me personally, it's important, perhaps for a few others of us who remember, to think about Paul McCartney, who has just lost his wife, Linda, to cancer. Lord, we think about the fame that has gone with being one of the original Beatles, a fame with a high-profile career and a richness. And yet, Lord, in a moment like this woman that he's been married to for 28 years, and by all accounts has loved deeply, and they've shared life together. This brings to a close their relationship here. So God, thank you for the example of even famous people who can know what it is to enter into a commitment, a married relationship with someone that they love, and to follow through. Thank you. And for this gentleman, for Paul, for their children, may this be a time in which, perhaps even in unanticipated ways, they'll receive not only some comfort and strength from friends and from one another as family, but that also, God, there might be a sense of your ministry there in helping him to find a way to go on. Thank you for her bravery in the face of this awful disease. And we are reminded that there are some things that cut across all social and economic classes, all human issues like that. We just pray for a man who is due great. So, Lord, thank you that beyond what any of us are able to do, you're there. We commit this time to you here in this classroom, too. In Jesus' name.
any of you before our prayer just now passed through that Linda McCartney had passed away? Just a word about that. That to me is one of the more remarkable relationships that's gone on out there. At a time when, it speaks from personal experience, when the Beatles first became famous in 1964, and then all kinds of different avenues of fame opened, and all the things, frankly, that success and that money can try and secure. Loneliness to solitude, that's an important concept. We're going to be looking at that and referencing, more than we have the other books, we're going to be referencing Nouwen's book here in class. Why? In part because it's shorter, in part because I think we really need to give particular focus to some of the things that he's bringing out and concepts that refer less to documents that are written somewhere, whether it be the Ten Commandments or the Apostles' Creed or the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer, but more referencing documents of human life. These are themes that Nouwen says are significant in the lives of most people. So we're going to pursue this theme with his help in just a few moments. Along with that, we're going to turn to a couple of particular episodes in the Bible, in Scripture, that illustrate some of what's going on here in this whole theme area. One of them comes from the unlikely area. Unlikely because most of us don't find this as daily reading. 1 Kings chapter 19. It's in the Old Testament. And in 1 Kings chapter 19, what we come across is a life, an illustration of this whole issue of loneliness and solitude that deals with someone who arguably was one of the three most famous prophets in all the Old Testament. His name was Elijah. And Elijah then finds his place alongside other prophets such as Moses and Isaiah. Moses, the original one, of course, who led the children of Israel out of slavery, the book of Exodus, and led them toward a promised land. And Isaiah being the one who wrote the longest book in the whole Old Testament. The prophet Isaiah, who was there in the midst of very difficult times, and yet stuck with the people and gave to them an extraordinary word. We'll also come back to Elijah after we look just in mentioning Isaiah for the moment. But in any case, 1 Kings chapter 19, the description of Elijah the prophet, and then we're going to go to the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1, verses 19 and following, and there's the example of Jesus himself in this whole issue of the theme of dealing with both loneliness and solitude. First of all, as mentioned, a very crisp review of what the prospect is for the final exam. Please bear with us if you've heard this before, but it's worth mentioning. In review, what we have done during the time of our semester together to this point is we have looked at historical things in the Christian History magazine. We've looked at theological issues, issues of doctrine, of teaching, through J.I. Packer's book, Growing in Christ. We've also looked at what we might call biographical or personal, we'll just put biographical for the sake of shorthand here, or Christian experience. And that through using the book edited by Kerr and Mulder called Famous Conversions. And we've interacted with each one of these in turn. And we can expect then that each of these areas is going to turn up on a final exam, which is cumulative in nature. That is, it goes back and surveys the different areas where we've been. What I was encouraging and would encourage each of us to do as we look ahead at this is to keep the number 5 in mind. And that means that when we think about the historical dimension, we look at the Christian thing, just to commit 5 of these one-liners to memory, and be able to interact capably on the meaning of those 5, both in their original meaning, we're back to definitions, right? But also in terms of some of what it means when applied to life. 5 clauses of the Lord's Prayer, 5 clauses also, if you will, of the Apostles' Creed. How do we know what a clause is? Well, go back to Packer, open up the book, and you'll find that successively, the different documents kind of fold out like this, and there's an invitation to be following along that outline provided. So 5 of each, and then in that fourth part of Packer's book that we speak about, which is on initiation. be aware of some of what's being said there about baptism. And that will be helpful for review purposes. Finally, in terms of some of the biographies in famous conversions, again, the number 5, if you would, in preparation, certainly